Hello students. Today in this video I am going to explain poem 6 in your first flight, Amanda by Robin Klein. So today I am going to explain poem 6 by Robin Klein. Okay, the title of the poem is Amanda, the name of a girl. Amanda here, the name of a little girl. Okay. So before beginning, so let me give you a small introduction to the lesson. In this lesson, Robin Klein has expressed the views of a little girl, Amanda, who is constantly pointed out by her mother for making mistakes. Mistakes which she considers so as they are not part of the code of good conduct laid out by the society in which we live. This small poem tells us what problem a little girl faces, how she was mentally being pressurized by her mother, and what she was thinking about freedom. Okay, so let us begin the beautiful poem written by Robin Klein. Okay, look at the first stanza of the poem. Don't bite your nails, Amanda. Don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. Stop that slouching and sit straight, Amanda. There is a languid emerald sea where the soul inhabited is me, a mermaid driftly blissfully. Okay, so let me explain. In this poem, the poet is describing that Amanda's mother constantly pointing out her mistake. In this poem, the poet describes that Amanda's mother constantly she is pointing out her mistakes. So what does Amanda's mother tell her? Don't bite your nails, Amanda. Amanda's mother tells Amanda not to bite. She should not bite her nails with her teeth. In the first line, the poet describes that Amanda's mother instructs Amanda that she should not bite her nails with his teeth. Don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. In the second line, again, continuously, her mother gives instruction to her. In second line, Amanda's mother tells Amanda that she should not bend her shoulders. Stop that slouching and sit up straight, Amanda. So in third line, the poet says that Amanda's mother instructs Amanda that she should not sit in a lazy way, and she should sit straight. She should not sit in a lazy way. Instead, she should sit straight. So in these three lines, we have seen that mother of Amanda constantly she was instructing her. She asks her not to bite her nails. She asks her not to bend her shoulders. She asks her not to sit in a lazy way and sit up straight way. So thus, with these three lines, we can say that such things also are happening in our society. As a parent, we are instructing our children. Always we give them instruction as Amanda's mother gives in this poem. There is a languid emerald sea where the sole inhabitant is me, a mermaid drifting blissfully. So the lines which have been written in the bracket, so these lines is the thinking of Amanda. What does Amanda think? Amanda thinks that while her mother instructs her, so she does not listen to her mother's instruction. Instead, she thinks that she is relaxed in green sea. Here emerald means green color. Okay, so she is relaxed, she is calm in green sea where the sole inhabitant is me, where she is the only inhabitant. She thinks that she is hoping to be in green sea. She is hoping to be alone in that sea, in that green sea, like a mermaid drifting blissfully. So she wants to drift, she wants to move in the water happily. Mermaid, a maid with tail of a fish, a mermaid. So Amanda's mother constantly she is giving instructions to her what she should do and what she shouldn't do. But instead of listening to her mother, Amanda is thinking something else. Amanda is thinking if she would have been, Amanda is thinking that if she would have been a mermaid, then she would have been in green sea and she would have been drifting happily, moving, swimming in the sea in a relaxing way. Okay, so in the first stanza, the poet is describing Amanda, a little girl who is always pointed out by her mother for her mistakes and how she imagines her life to be. Yes, the poet says that the mother is pointing out Amanda for biting nails, which is a bad habit. Next, she asks her to sit straight without bending her shoulders. Amanda, who has habit of bending her shoulders and sitting lazily, is being pointed out because her mother wants her to sit in the right posture, sit in a straight way. So that is sit up in a right posture. At this point of time, when she is being instructed by her mother, when she is being scolded by her mother, she imagines herself to be in a deep green sea. She says that she wants to be the only resident of this beautiful green sea. She imagines herself like a mermaid who is alone there and leads her life in a very relaxing way. She says that she wants to be carried away by the current of water and feels the relaxing environment here. So Amanda wants to be a mermaid and wants to be enjoy her life in sea, but her mother constantly she is scolding her. She is telling her what she should do and what she shouldn't do. Okay, so I hope first stanza is clear to you. So let us go through some poetic devices, literary devices used in this poem. The first one is anaphora. So in the ball poem, we also discussed this poetic device in which the same word is repeated in two or more than two lines. So here, don't bite and don't hunch. You can see here, don't bite in first line and don't hunch in second line. Don't. So if a word is repeated in two or more lines, so it is anaphora. Assonance, when vowel sound is consonant, so here use of vowel O. So don't hunch your shoulder. So you can see that here vowel sound is prominence. O, then again O, then again O. Okay, so vowel sound is prominence, so that's why it is assonance. Next is metaphor. So what is metaphor? We have discussed in the class also. Yes, metaphor is implied simile. So it, when in any line of any text or poem or prose, when a comparison is made without using like, as or so, so it is called metaphor. So here emerald sea, here it is compared to green color. Emerald sea, so it stands for green color, so that is why it is metaphor. Repetition, so the word Amanda has been repeated in the stanza, so that is why it is repetition. So here Amanda, then again Amanda, again Amanda. Okay, so that's why it is repetition. Next is imagery, as Amanda is imagining that she would be drifting blissfully like mermaid, so it is what? Imagery. Alliteration, so stop that slouching and sit up straight. So repetition of S sound. Here S sound is being repeated at the start of closely placed word, so that is why it is alliteration. Next is allusion. In the ball poem also, in how to tell wild animals. Yes, in the first stanza it was Asian lion. So Asian lion was what? Allusion, because when any famous place, animal or thing is being described, so that is called allusion. So here mermaid is allusion. Okay students, so we have discussed poetic devices used in the first stanza. Okay, now let us go through second stanza. Did you finish your homework, Amanda? Did you tidy your room, Amanda? I thought I told you to clean your shoes, Amanda. So here Amanda's mother continues to give her instructions. In second stanza, Amanda's mother asks her whether she had finished her homework, whether she had cleaned her room. In the second stanza, Amanda's mother continues scolding her. She is continues scolding her, and she asks her whether she had finished her homework, whether she had cleaned her room. I thought I told you to clean your shoes. So further she reminds Amanda that she had to clean her shoes. Now again, while her mother was giving all these instructions to Amanda, Amanda was busy thinking something else. So what does Amanda thinks when her mother was busy giving her introduction? Then what does she thinks? I am an orphan roaming the street. I pattern soft dust with my hushed bare feet. The silence is golden, the freedom is sweet. So here Amanda is thinking that she is a child, she is a child who has no parents. She is an orphan. She does not have any parents and she is roaming in the street aimlessly. So in this stanza, in these two lines, Amanda thinks that when Amanda's mother gives her instructions and she keeps thinking something else, she is thinking that she is like a orphan. She would have been without parents and roaming in the street freely. So she doesn't wants to have parents. So this line shows that because her mother is constantly scolding Amanda, so that's why she does not want to have parents. So she here thinks that if she would have an orphan, she would have roaming in the street. Uh, she would making patterns, making designs on the soft dust. So she would be walking freely, quietly, silently, bare feet, without bearing slippers or anything else in her feet. So she would be moving, making designs of her feet on the dust, on the soft dust. Okay, and like an orphan, like a child without parents, so there would be no one who would be scolding her. So she doesn't like her parents. So this line tells us when her mother scolds her, so she get irritated and she does not want to have parents. So she thinks herself without parents, like an orphan, like a child whose parents are dead. The silence is golden, the freedom is sweet. So here he says the silence is golden, the silence is very crucial and precious. Here silence is golden means the silence is very crucial and precious, and the freedom is sweet. And further she says that the freedom is sweet. So this means she never feels free when she is with her mother. So here she wants to be free, she wants to be without mother, because with her mother she was not free. She never feels free when she is with her mother. So here, student, metaphor has been used. Silence has been compared to golden, and here to gold, and freedom has been compared to sweet. So metaphor once again has been used here. Okay. So in the second stanza, the poet says, Amanda's mother is enquiring her about whether she has done her homework or not. And she asks her whether she has cleaned her room or not. Moreover, she is always reminded to clean her shoes. So, there we can see that the mother is constantly asking her questions regarding her homework being done or not, or whether she had cleaned up her room and shoes or not. But on the other hand, while Amanda is listening to her mother, listening to her mother's instructions. She imagines herself to be an orphan who is roaming in the streets. This means that she imagines if she would have been without parents, she would have walked freely in the streets. She would have drawn designs, she would have made designs on the soft dust with her uncovered feet very quietly. So we can see that she thinks opposite to her mother. Her mother wants her to keep everything neat and clean, but Amanda wants to play in dust with her bare feet. Moreover, she is so fed up of these constant instructions from her mother. She says silence is golden, which means that silence is very crucial and precious. She further says that freedom is sweet. This means she never feels free when she is with her mother. Okay, so let us discuss literary devices used in this poem. Anaphora once again here. Did you finish? Did you tidy? So as you can see that here. Did you finish? Did you tidy? So the word did has been used in two lines. When a single word is used in two or more lines, it is anaphora. Rhyme scheme, if we talk about rhyme scheme, so let us check rhyme scheme. Amanda A, Amanda again A, shoes B, Amanda again A, street C, feet C, sweet C. So A, B, A, C, C, C. Okay. So let us also discuss rhyme scheme in first stanza. We have forgotten to discuss about it. Amanda A, Amanda A, straight B, Amanda A, C, C, me, C, then here blissfully C. Okay, so A, B, A, C, C, C. The same rhyme scheme in first stanza and second stanza. Okay. Assonance here, vowel sound O is prominence, though, told, you, your, shoe. So you can see vowel O sound is prominence here, so that is why it is assonance. Repetition, use of word Amanda. The word Amanda has been repeated in the poem. It has been used many times, so that's why it is repetition. Okay students, so next during explanation I told you metaphor. So in the last line metaphor has been used here. Silence is golden, so silence is said to be glorious like golden color, and freedom is sweet, so here freedom is said to be sweet in taste. So freedom is compared to sweet, and while silence is compared to golden color. Okay, so that is why it is metaphor. Okay. Now next stanza, look at the third stanza. Don't eat that chocolate, Amanda. Further, her mother gives her instructions. Next, Amanda's mother is disallowing her to eat chocolate. She does not allow her to eat chocolate. She is disallowing her to eat chocolate. So don't eat that chocolate, Amanda. Further, her mother gives her instructions not to eat chocolates. Remember your acne, Amanda. So remember your pimples, because she was having pimples. So due to chocolate eating, due to eating chocolates, she had pimples on her face. So that is why her mother reminds her about her pimple and asks her not to eat chocolates. Will you please look at me when I am speaking to you? So here Amanda ignores her mother. She does not pay attention to what her mother says. So that's why her mother says that, will you please look at me when I am speaking to you? As Amanda ignores her mother and she does not pay attention to what her mother says. So that's why he says here that, so would you please look at me when I am speaking to you, when I am talking to you. So here Amanda's mother scolds her for not paying attention to what her mother says. Okay. At that moment, what Amanda was thinking? Sorry. Yes. Sorry. Okay, let us continue. I am Rapunzel. Rapunzel, a fairy with long hair. So it is found in fairy tale. Okay. So you must have heard the story of Rapunzel having a long hair and a witch used to go to the tower. So with the help of her hair. So you must have heard or watched that story. Okay. So see, she wants to be Rapunzel, a fairy with long hair. Amanda wants to be a Rapunzel, a fairy with long hair. I have not a care. So here Amanda, at this moment, Amanda imagines herself to be Rapunzel. Rapunzel was a character from a fairy tale that was captured in tower by a witch. The witch used to climb the tower with the help of long hair of Rapunzel that were let down by her through the window. You must have watched or heard this story. So now Amanda wants to be Rapunzel because she feels that life in the tower will be peaceful. I am Rapunzel and I have not a care. Life in tower, life in minaret. Tower means minaret. Life in a tower is tranquil and rare because she thinks that life in a tower will be very peaceful and unusual, uncommon. So she thinks that life in a tower will be calm, quiet and uncommon, unusual. So that's why she considers, she thinks, she imagines to be a Rapunzel and to live in a minaret, in a tower, okay, where a peaceful environment will be there. A peaceful environment will be there in the tower. A peaceful environment will be there in the tower and the life will be unusual. I will certainly never let down my bright hair. And further, she tells that she will never let her hair down to anyone so that nobody could come to her in that tower. So as Rapunzel in a fairy tale, Rapunzel used to let down her hair, and with the help of that hair the witch used to climb the tower. But here Amanda says she is not going to do that. So in this stanza, the poet tells us that Amanda's mother constantly scolds her, and she disallows her to eat chocolates. She reminds her of pimples that Amanda faces due to eating chocolates. At last, she scolds for not paying attention to what her mother says. At this moment, Amanda imagines herself to be Rapunzel. Rapunzel was a character from a fairy tale that was captured in a tower by a witch. So you must have watched that story or heard about that story in which Rapunzel was captured in a tower, and when she used to let down her hair, so with the help of her hair the witch used to climb the tower. Okay, so that's why Amanda is thinking to be Rapunzel, because she feels that life in tower, life in that minaret will be peaceful and unusual. She thinks she will be free and live in a peaceful environment in the tower. She also confirms to herself that she will never let her hair down to anyone, so that nobody could come to her in the tower. Okay, now let us discuss literary devices. So here once again allusion has been used, because Rapunzel is a famous character, use of famous fairy tale character. Okay, where anything famous is used, so that is allusion. Rhyme, so once again the same rhyme has been used here. So let us go through the stanza. Amanda A, once again Amanda A, U B, Amanda A, and care C, rare C, here C. Okay, A B A C C C. Okay, assonance, use of vowel sound E and O. So here in this line you can see, will you please look at me when I am speaking to you. So vowel sound E and O is prominence, so that is why it is what? Assonance. Okay, consonance, that is use of R. I am Rapunzel, I have not care bright hair. So here use of consonant sound R, Rapunzel, care, bright hair. So that is why here repetition of R sound. Okay, so that's why it is consonance. Okay, here repetition of R sound. So because of repetition of consonant sound, it is consonance. Repetition, so the word Amanda, it has been repeated again and again in all the stanzas. Okay, so let us go through the last stanza of the poem. Stop that sulking at once, Amanda. Stop that sulking at once, Amanda. So stop to be in bad mood at once, Amanda. So here Amanda's mother now warns her for behaving in a very old manner, for behaving in a sad way, in a bad mood. For being in a bad mood, Amanda's mother warns her. You are always so moody, Amanda. Further, she asks her to stop being in bad mood, and moreover, she blames her of having such an unstable mood always. for having such an unstable mood. She blames her. Anyone would think that I nagged at you. So anyone might think that. Anyone can think that I have harassed you because of I have harassed you because you have been harassed by me. So that's why you are sad. So anyone may think that. So that's why stop behaving this way. In the last stanza, her mother instructs her so not to behave that way. So in the last stanza, the poet says that Amanda's mother now warns her for behaving in a very odd manner. She asks her to stop being in a bad mood. Moreover, she blames her of having such an unstable mood. She also scolds her by saying that her behavior will one day make people think that Amanda was constantly being harassed by her mother. So, there we can say that though Amanda is always pointed out by her mother on every small thing, but she can't react to this. If she reacts towards this by getting emotional, her mother takes his against her sense of pride and scolds her that she should not behave like this, as others would think that Amanda's mother is very, dominating towards her child. Okay, so now literary devices: alliteration, stop, sulking, repetition of s here. Okay, and repetition, so the word Amanda has been repeated. So here rhyme scheme is Amanda A, Amanda A, U B, Amanda A. So A B A. Okay, it's all about the poem. In my next video I will summarize the poem and I will discuss answers to all the questions and other exercises of the poem. Thank you for watching the video.